All right, shalom, shalom. I want to start saying all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakah, Kodash. Davans to the apostles, Els, Great Millstone, and shalom, Wakasa, Allah, Bakyar, which is peace and mercy to the elect throughout the four corners, wherever you may be. I'm the brother Amar from the branch of GMS Cleveland. Come back into another video. And real quick, man, this is, going into, how Jake was once comparable to that fine gold. And now they're comparable to that dross, silver or dross metal, and basically when you look at the history of how we're, King Solomon and, all other forefathers that was, upright and doing the right thing by Yahweh Shem Shah and, living according to the standard that the Lord prescribed for us, they were likened to that fine gold. And now Jake is in a degenerate, reprobate state of mind where they're not pretty much worth anything. The average Jake nowadays, but in a sense they are because they're Israelites. But you get the picture. But anyway, we're going to return back to that state. Actually, the Lord's going to bring us back. He's going to put us, somewhere far beyond what we once were. And we asked a lot of our forefathers were in high prominent positions. They at certain times throughout history they controlled and dominated the realm, that known region or realm of the world. You know what I'm saying? Which in the kingdom of heaven we're going to dominate the entire world, and it's, in the galaxies and the whole 9 yards. But anyway. Lamentations chapter 4 verse 1. It says, "How has the gold become dim?" Which that gold is referencing, the Israelites, starting with the men. You know what I'm saying? Let me get this real quick, man. Hold on, so I can put that on real quick. It says, "How was the most fine gold changed? The stones of the sanctuary are poured out in the top of every street." It says, "The precious sons of Zion, comparable to fine gold, how are they esteemed as earthen pitchers, the work of the hands of the potter," man. Right. You know what I'm saying? How are these Israelites, these, top prominent people on the earth, the highest people on the earth, spiritually, mentally, and physically, how they're now brought to this low degree of living? You know what I'm saying? That, when you look at Jake spiritually, mentally, and physically, we're jacked up as a people. But the prophets are here to tell you why and how that came to be. Is one, because of the transgression of, predominantly for the transgression of Yahweh Shem Shah's ways, and ultimately, second of all, it was because of prophecy. The scriptures talk about the, matter of fact, let's see if I can get that. This because the creature is made subject unto vanity. Let me see. Yep. Romans 8:20. It says, "For the creature was made subject to vanity, not willingly, but by reason of him who have subjected the same in hope." You know what I'm saying? So yeah, this is all done by the will of the Lord, man. We didn't want to go off, you know what I'm saying? But like the scripture just said, "For the creature was made subject to vanity, not willingly, but by reason of him who have subjected the same in hope." So we didn't want to go off. We didn't willingly want to go off. If it was up to us, the transgression, the great fall, you know what I'm saying, and us losing our heritage and having to get it back and going through captivity. If the Lord gave us a choice, we would have been like, hell no, we ain't trying to go through that. We want the kingdom just right off the bat. But the Lord didn't want it that way. Ultimately, He wanted us to learn this lesson, which is, how not to live, and basically to understand that righteousness is the way to go, and understanding the process of death, and what I'm saying, all that. So got that out the way. Let me go back to let me hit this Isaiah real quick. I think this is the one I want. Yep. Matter of fact, I'll get this first. I'll get this one in Ezekiel first. Yep, Ezekiel 22 and 17. And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, the house of Israel is become the house of Israel is to me become dross. All they are brass and tin and iron and lead in the midst of the furnace. They are even the dross of silver, man. Yeah, dross is like it's basically regarded as nothing, man. You know what I'm saying? When you look it up. You know what I'm saying? So we was once comparable to that fine gold when I just read in Lamentation, the fourth chapter, and now the Lord is comparing us to these inferior, lesser metals or precious metals. They still have substance and they still have value to them, but they're not as precious as the gold. You know what I'm saying? Then it even compares to silver, but draw silver. You know what I'm saying? Verse 19, therefore thus saith the Lord Yahweh, this is because ye are all become dross. It says, behold, therefore I will gather you into the midst of Jerusalem as they gather silver and brass and iron and lead and tin into the midst of the furnace to blow the fire upon it to melt it. So will I gather you in my anger and in my fury, and I will leave you there and melt you. It says, yeah, I will gather you and blow upon you in the fire of my wrath, and ye shall be melted in the midst thereof. It says, as silver is melted in the midst of the furnace, so shall ye be melted in the midst thereof. Ye shall know that I, the Lord, have poured out my fury upon you, man. Right? You know what I'm saying? So this is basically what is about to take place, man. The Lord is about to get rid of the dross of our people, which is symbolic of the 2/3, and ultimately redeem and save the elect remnant, the ones that are getting right, seeing what the Lord has wanted us to see, and he's about to set back up the righteous uh, ones of our people, and ultimately the entire nation will be righteous. But obviously there's steps to it. You know what I'm saying? He's going to get rid of the 2/3 that draw silver on this side, and save the 1/3 that gold that's likened that he likens unto the elect as that gold, that precious gold. He's going to redeem them through this, and obviously how the kingdom of heaven will get set up is the ones that down this side will get brought back through the loins of the ones that made it on this side. All right, so like I said, there's a process. So in this chapter, kind of these verses right here in this particular chapter kind of sums it up. Uh, this is Isaiah 1 and 20. 21. It says, how is the faithful city becoming harlot? It says, it was full of judgment, righteousness lodged in it, but now murderers, right? Because Jerusalem is a city. Jerusalem is a people before it's a place. The people make up the place. So it's talking about the city, but it's more so talking about the people, all right, that inhabit the city. All right, it's like we were once, doing the will of the Lord, and you know what I'm saying, living upright. Of course, you always had that remnant, and you always had that wicked. You always had that righteous generation. You always had that wicked generation. It was always there. Both were always there. You had a portion of our people that was doing the right thing, and a portion of our people that wasn't. But for the most part, man, Jake ain't never been this low. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, 22. It says, thy silver has become dross, thy wine mixed with water. Thy princes are rebellious and companions of thieves. Every one loveth gifts and falleth after rewards. They judge not the fatherless, neither doeth the cause of the widow come unto them. Right, and when you do some research, man, you'll find that we got to a point where majority of our people were just reprobate, man. Like I said, you always had that remnant, but yeah, man, it was particular times and throughout history where it seemed like a larger or more large percentage of our people was wicked than righteous. Just like now, it says, and therefore thus saith the Lord of hosts, the mighty one of Israel, I will ease me of my adversaries and avenge me of my enemies. Right, because the Lord has enemies even amongst his own people. It says, I will turn my hand upon thee and purely purge away thy dross and take away all thy tin, right? The 2/3. He's going to remove them out of the way. You know what I'm saying? So that the righteous kingdom can be established, and that is going to happen on this side, this go around. And even when after America is destroyed, you will have once the elect get beamed up, you'll have us going throughout. The elders said mainly they spoke as men when they said it, but they perceived to be like South America, and like the scripture about the wilderness in the book of Ezekiel. We purge out the rebels. Verse 26, now I will restore thy judges as at the first, and thy counselors as at the beginning. Afterward thou shalt be called the city of righteousness, the faithful city, man. Right. So once the Lord removes the 2/3 on this side, beams up the 1/3, and brings them back through the loins of the 1/3, that's when the kingdom will start to manifest, what I'm saying, or manifest more, should I say, the rebuilding of the nation. All right. So that's that process. All right. And then too, let me get that real quick, man. Because the Lord right now, he's doing that. He's making up his jewels as the I believe this book, I think it's Malachi. Let me see. Yep, that's Malachi 3 and 6. That's Malachi 3 and 17. Slakia. I'll start from 16. It says, then they that feared the Lord spake often one to another, and the Lord hearkened and heard it. And the book of remembrance was written before him for them that fear the Lord and that thought upon his name. And they shall be mine, said the Lord of hosts, in that day when I will make up my jewels, which is talking about the men of the nation of Israel, the elect men. It says, and I will spare them as a man spareth his own son. It says that serveth him. Yeah, he's making up his jewels right now. How? By breathing back into them that breath of life, the understanding and supper with them. Nurturing them, catering them, meeting them in their thoughts, giving them visions, you know what I'm saying? Things of that nature. Verse 18, then shall you return and discern between the righteous and the wicked, between him that serveth Yahweh and him that serveth him not. And right, and you do that by observing, individual, you know what I'm saying, rather they speaking the truth, you know what I'm saying, and teaching the whole entirety of the scriptures, and not taking bribes, and basically being just genuine and sincere and upright, and being sound in the doctrine. And you're able to do that by listening to what what men say, and observing their character, because it tells you in the Sirach about the trial of a man. It's basically when he speaks. I believe it's the 25th chapter or the 27th chapter. You can go and read it. You get this last precept. Yeah, then we go back and go back to Isaiah. And I got one more for that. Back in Isaiah 1 and 27, Zion shall be redeemed with judgment, and her converse with righteousness. It says, and the destruction of the transgressors and of the sinners shall be together, and they that forsake the Lord shall be consumed. Right? Because you got a portion of our people that forsook the Lord, like I said, that's known as the 2/3, and they will die here on this side and come back in the kingdom. Last one. Let me see. Matter of fact, I got one more for this. Proverbs 25 and 4. Take away the dross from the silver, and there shall come forth a vessel for the finer. Right, and the Lord is taking away the dross from the silver. All right, so he can, perfect, the image of how he really wants the Israelite man and woman to be. Verse 25, take away the wicked from before the king, and his throne shall be established in righteousness, man. Yep, you know what I'm saying? So he's taking away the wicked, starting with Esau, Edom, and other nations. And then, he's going to remove the 2/3, so the kingdom of heaven can be established in righteousness. Last one. Let me see. Zechariah 13. Zechariah 13, verse 8. It says, and it shall come to pass that in all the land, said the Lord, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the third shall be left therein in the fire. And this is mainly talking about here in America. All right. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, whether you have elect throughout the 4 corners, but 2 parts that are die is mainly from America. All right. And it says, but the third shall be left therein. You know what I'm saying? I will bring the third part through the fire, and will refine them as silver. Refine them as silver is refined, and will try them as gold is tried. They shall call on my name, and I will hear them. I will say, it is my people, and they shall say, the Lord is my God. Yeah, so hey, praise the edifying. With that, I'm gonna give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Kai Kodash. A double honors to the apostle, Ezra, Millstone, and Shalom.